Sir Tom Jones at 85 is a man living between two worlds, the roar of the audience and the quiet of private reflection. Even after decades of fame, millions of records sold, and a life filled with wild nights, his presence on stage carries a gravity shaped by experience and loss. The summer festival air in Germany 2025 is thick, almost tangible, as he prepares backstage. His fingers tremble slightly over his cuff, a subtle reminder of age and the fragility of breath, a currency he has relied on his entire life. For fans, he is timeless, a legend whose voice hasn't faltered. But behind the lights, the mathematics of time, health, and memory weigh heavily. Every performance is now an intricate balance of technique, memory, and emotional endurance, revealing a man who continues not to chase nostalgia, but to confront mortality while still performing at the highest level. Backstage tension and the art of breath moments. Before stepping onto stage, Sir Tom is a study in controlled anticipation. The stage manager gives the 2-minute cue, a signal most artists interpret as a surge of adrenaline. For Tom, it carries a quiet, precise calculation. His lungs, once effortless instruments of power, now demand careful management. Earlier in 2025, a performance in Bremen was canceled due to an upper respiratory infection. While publicly treated as routine, for a singer of his age, this is deeply existential. Every inhale and exhale matters. The crowd chants before he even appears, their energy a reminder of his enduring cultural presence. On stage, this awareness transforms his performance. Notes are deliberate, phrasing measured, and silence is intentional. The audience experiences the fullness of his artistry, but the work behind every sustained line, every micro pause, is invisible, a private testament to discipline and survival. A lifetime of love and loss. Since the death of his wife, Linda Melinda Trenchard, in 2016, life has quietly reshaped itself for Tom. Their marriage, spanning nearly 60 years, was rooted in shared history and youthful beginnings in Pontypridd, Wales. When she fell ill with aggressive lung cancer, Tom followed medical advice, keeping distance despite his instinct to comfort. That restraint, though necessary, left an imprint of regret that lingers. He sold their Los Angeles home, unable to inhabit a space that felt filled with absence. Moving back to the UK, he sought smaller, quieter surroundings closer to familiar roots. These choices, seemingly simple, reveal the intimate reality of grief, daily routines punctuated by empty spaces and silent mornings. The grandeur of fame has faded at home, leaving the quiet weight of memory and love, a private narrative that no stage lights or public applause can touch. Performing after loss. Deliberate precision. When Tom steps onto the stage now, there is a shift in his delivery. Performing classics like Delilah, the energy is no less potent, but it is tempered with care. The voice, once effortlessly powerful, now carries textures of age and reflection. Each note is placed with intent, every phrase measured. This is not nostalgia, it is work. The audience senses it, even if unconsciously. There is a poignancy in the restraint. He no longer chases the sound, he shapes it. Micro pauses, measured breaths, and subtle vocal inflections transform familiar songs into lived experience. The spectacle of youth has been replaced by the artistry of endurance. Every sustained note is both technical achievement and emotional statement. The audience responds with familiar fervor, yet the underlying narrative is quieter, more intimate, reflecting a man aware that what he once took for granted, breath, presence, and time, is now a finite resource to be honored with each performance. The private aftermath of performance. Once the applause fades, the contrast is stark. Backstage, silence envelops him like a familiar cloak. A towel, a glass of water, the faint hum of his phone. These are the post-show markers of life offstage. At 85, most legends would prepare retirement speeches, yet Tom continues, propelled by a need to remain active. Performing is not merely career, it is identity. Yet there is also solitude. The quiet after the roar reminds him of what the spotlight cannot illuminate. Messages, logistics, upcoming tour reminders, all underscore the persistence of responsibility. Fame and memory occupy different spaces. He is still recognized, revered, and celebrated, but the private intervals between appearances highlight the real cost of survival on stage. Behind the velvet and lights lies a man negotiating the limits of age while honoring a lifetime devoted to his craft. Complex family dynamics. Tom Jones's life is not only defined by the stage, it is shaped by the realities of family and consequence. His son Mark, raised with Linda, manages his career, offering stability and trust. Jonathan Berkery, born from an affair in the 1980s, represents another story, largely absent from public celebration. Though Tom provided financial support, a personal relationship never developed. This contrast, two sons, two worlds, illustrates the complexities of choices made during a lifetime in fame. Unfinished chapters resonate differently in later years, reminding him that legacy is more than chart-topping hits. It is measured by the relationships nurtured and neglected. At 85, these dimensions grow louder, more insistent, each reflecting the interplay between public persona and private responsibility, between applause and silence. Fame and the chaos of youth. In the 1960s and 1970s, fame offered few boundaries. Sir Tom embraced the excesses of touring, hotel life, and romantic encounters with openness, and admitted hundreds of affairs. Yet he remained married to Linda, whose presence provided a counterweight to the chaos. This duality, public indulgence, private loyalty, defines much of his legend. Las Vegas residencies, television appearances, and relentless touring created a machine-like schedule that left little room for reflection. What audiences celebrated as charisma was also a negotiation of survival within a demanding, unstructured world. Even then, private restraint existed, though often invisible. Understanding this period requires moving beyond myth into the subtleties of choice, compromise, and human complexity, acknowledging that fame amplified both freedom and consequence. Mortality, memory, and the stage. Performing at 85 carries a new dimension, an acute awareness of mortality. Health concerns, like the 2025 respiratory infection, bring the fragility of breath into sharp relief. Every note, every pause is filtered through the lens of aging. Memory, too, shapes the moment. Songs are no longer just musical expressions, but vessels of experience, regret, and remembrance. Personal losses, especially Linda's absence, infuse performances with depth that the audience may not consciously recognize. The stage becomes a space for survival and reflection, where the energy of the crowd contrasts with the quiet calculation of the artist. This interplay highlights the human dimension of aging, illustrating how art and life intersect in subtle, emotionally resonant ways, enduring legacy and unfinished chapters. Tom Jones's legacy is complicated, nuanced, and deeply human. He has endured fame, scandal, personal loss, and family complexity while maintaining a career into his 9th decade. His story transcends the stage, extending into private reckonings, regrets, and reconciliations with past choices. Audience members see the tuxedo, hear the voice, and feel the performance's impact, but the underlying narrative of responsibility, memory, and survival remains quieter, internal. At 85, legacy is measured not just in applause or record sales, but in how one navigates absence, presence, and the delicate arithmetic of time. The unfinished chapters, from unacknowledged relationships to personal regrets, enrich rather than diminish his story, revealing a man whose life resonates in both public acclaim and private reflection. Conclusion: presence beyond performance. Sir Tom Jones continues to step onto stages, not to prove he can, but to endure, to honor a lifetime of work, and to navigate the delicate balance of breath, memory, and mortality. Audiences witness artistry refined through decades, yet the deeper story lies backstage, in quiet moments of reflection and unspoken regret. Fame, once a whirlwind of desire and attention, has softened into sustained effort, deliberate presence, and mentorship. The applause fades, but the human experience remains, love lost, lessons learned, choices weighed, and survival honored. At 85, Tom Jones embodies not just a legend, but the intimate, universal struggle to continue, to persist, and to find meaning between the lights, the silence, and the echoes of a lifetime lived fully.